Here's Trey.
All right, let's go over our core values. I am destined. I am effective. I am strong. I am teachable. I am intelligent. I am noble. I am yours, Lord.
Oh, I feel like a child.
Spit your candy
No.
out. Oh,
That felt so embarrassing. Oh no! I'm so professional. Supposed to be serious right now. Serious. Story time. All right, right out the gates. We're getting personal. Is it out of the gate or out of the gates? Right out of the gate switch. Getting personal. Okay, so I met this guy, right? This is a long time ago. This isn't now or anything. I would not be telling you this story if it was now. Oh my gosh. So I met a guy. A long time ago, okay? We were at a concert and the concert ended. He was hanging out by the merch table. I was hanging out by the merch table. We exchanged numbers. We texted for probably like a week, I wanna say. Like I didn't know him that well at all, but we decided to go on a date, right? So we go on a date, we drive separate cars because I ain't about that life. You ain't finna come pick me up, know where I live. You are not, no. We went to kind of a fancy place. It was kind of nice. We had dessert. It was like so sweet, so romantic. Conversation was good, you know? And so then the end of the date rolls around and so we are hanging out in his car. You know how we do on dates. Walking back to the car, get in the car, sit and talk for a while. Sun goes down, still in the car. And you know, the conversation, you start using that voice that you don't use when you're talking about homework or weather or sports. It's like, it's really weird and his voice is getting all deep. Can we do an edit where you make his voice really...
His voice goes really deep like this.
And he leans over and it's getting all romantic and like he's leaning over here and I'm leaning over there. And, things are getting hot and heavy really, really fast. Like, okay. And then the moment comes, right? There's nothing left between us but the console. The console. Why do they even put those in cars? Like what's in your console right now? Napkins, car charger, yeah. Mine's probably has like dry erase markers in it. I can't quite do very much with the console between. He leans over to me and he says the most romantic thing. Do you want to get in the back seat? Can you do that with the deep voice? Can you do like the really deep?
Do you want to get in the back seat?
Oh! Hey Switch, what's up? It's Leslie. Tonight we are talking about courage and decision making. So I need to know, if you were in that situation, what would you have done? And guys, if the tables were turned and she said to you, do you want to get in the back seat? What would you have done? What would you do, right? And I know there's a right answer for this, right? There's the, no, I wouldn't have gotten in the car in the first place, or I wouldn't go on a date with a guy I barely know, or, I wouldn't even let it get to that moment. I would just walk to my car and drive home and read my Bible and wait till next week when I can come to Switch so I can worship and praise God with my whole heart because I'm so saved. Seriously. Sure, there's a textbook right answer, but that's just not how our brains work. For instance, raise your hand if you would get in the car with a drunk driver, knowing that there's like this impending chance that you would die. Raise your hand if you would get in the car with a drunk driver, right? No, you obviously wouldn't get in the car. However, studies show that if I were to say if your friend were the drunk driver and you were in the moment, like the studies show that a lot of us would actually get in the car because our brain is like, friendship, death. Friendship, death. I'm picking our friendship. And you get in the car. Like, that's literally what happened. It reminds me of that meme. What's that meme? The I can't tell if guy. Like, I love that meme. That's my favorite meme of all time. But that, basically, that's us. We're like, I can't tell if this friendship or death is, right? It's hard. And I'm not like picking on us. I'm not saying like, oh, we're dumb and we make dumb decisions. It's literally neuroscience. It's how our brains are wired. Like you have this whole part of your brain that's called the prefrontal cortex. And then this part is called the amygdala. It's shaped like this. And then under that, it's hard to explain. I think I'd do better if I could just draw it out. Come with me, guys. So this is your brain, and these are the major parts of your brain. We're just gonna look at two of them. Your frontal lobe, that's this part right here, and your limbic system, that's this part over here. So your frontal lobe is responsible for some pretty important things: complex decision-making, planning for the future, controlling your impulses, focusing your attention, the ability to ignore external distractions. It's responsible for insight, it's responsible for judgment, and it's actually the part of your brain that blocks out too much risk-taking behavior, right? It's the part of your brain that says, all right, that's enough. Let's chill out, y'all. We're getting unsafe, right? It's a part of your brain that stops you from saying something stupid. And this is your limbic system. It has a lot of different parts. It has your thalamus, your amygdala, your hippocampus, your hypothalamus. It's responsible for a lot of things: social interaction, fear and threat detection, emotional memories, processing positive stimuli. It basically rewards you for taking big risks. It's in charge of your fight or flight syndrome, basically all the things that kind of sum up your emotional responses to life, right? And this part of your brain is straight crazy. It loves pleasure, it loves sugar, it loves money. Guys, they actually did this one study where they gave a baby $1, and the baby was like, cool, $1. And they gave an adult a large amount of money too, and the adult was like, cool, I can pay bills. But they gave a teenager some money, and their brain went haywire, like, yes, give me money. Woo, I can't wait to have more money. Give me more money. And it was just a little bit of money. Guys, that part of your brain is crazy. So you're all like, cool, there's a 50-50 chance I'll make good decisions. Wrong, more science. Our brains actually develop from the back to the front. They call this connectivity, right? It's how all the parts of our brains get connected through a process called myelination. And we'll just call him Miles for short. But basically, he's just kind of slow. He can literally take up to 20 to 30 years to connect the back of your brain fully to the front of your brain, which means the last place to connect is your frontal lobe. You see the problem? So while Miles is trying his hardest to help you fully develop from a kid's brain into an adult's brain, your whole limbic system is tripping every chance it gets. All right, last thing about your brain. You know how little kids' brains pick up and learn things very quickly? Like way more quickly than adult brains? It's like why your baby cousin is way better at a smartphone than your older uncle. Well, you see, you still have that learn quickly superpower, right? That's great. It's super great. Except when it comes to addictions. You see, addiction uses the same molecular biology of learning, and therefore, addiction is a form of learning. See, teen brains can get addicted faster and stronger than adult brains, because similar to a kid's brain, it's still rehearsing and learning and being rewarded at a higher and faster rate than adult brains. Yes, so while your learning and reward system is wilding out and your judgment and planning is slowly connecting, therein lies what makes your teenage brain truly unique. And the good of it is, with your childlike ability to learn and be rewarded and get inspired, plus you're not quite adult enough to rationalize your way out of risk-taking, see, while your brain is still learning to be a good brain, you are literally crazy enough to change the world. All right. So what's the point? Why are we talking about brain science? Why are we talking about being in cars with boys? Listen, in life, you will encounter so many situations where the stakes are super high and you have to make a decision. High stakes situations, right? These are situations where your decision could cause a lot of regret when you look back and there's nothing you can do about it. Situations where whatever you decide, you can't undo. Basically, you can't repeal your decision. You can't go back and say like, oh, I wish I had not have. It's too late. You've already done it, right? Another type of high stakes situation, situations that have a lot of repercussions. You say, I'm just gonna do this one thing, but then the trickle effect like gets ridiculous snowballs and it has tons of repercussions, or even just one big repercussion that maybe affects other people. It's a high-stake decision. And then resilience. High-stake decisions, you have to consider like, if I make this decision, am I gonna be able to bounce back from it, right? The 4 R's, I didn't come up with them. You could actually check out this book if you wanna know more about high-stakes decision-making. When it comes to making high-stake decisions, you always have the opportunity to choose courage to do the most right thing, or to choose compromise, to do the easiest thing, or the most feel-good thing, right? We just talked about that part of your brain that really wants to make all your decisions for you, the part that loves sugar and money and all of the really good emotions. Don't let that part of your brain make all these high stakes decisions. That's what we're getting at. So here's my challenge for you. In high stakes situations, go ahead and decide before you arrive, right? Decide before you arrive. Before you're in that moment of a high-stakes situation, go ahead and make up your mind long before you get there what your answer, what your decision will be. Don't leave it up to your limbic system to make that decision in the moment, right? It's like going to a donut shop and then trying to decide that you're gonna quit eating sugar. It's like taking all of your money out of the bank, putting it in your pocket, going to the mall and saying, I'm not spending any money. No, you have to decide before that moment, long before that moment. You see how your brain works, right? It's gonna take so much more energy and time for you to make decisions with your frontal lobe. Don't leave it up to your limbic system. You can't trust it, right? Decide before you arrive. So this isn't just about decision making, right? This is about how we are living our lives as followers of Christ. There's so many high stakes decisions that's going to put your faith to the test, right? See, we live in a choose your own adventure kind of culture, right? The world kind of just wants you to get to the moment and have to make an impulse decision, right? It's like sale right now, ends right now. You have to spend all of your money right now. Or it's like, if you don't eat this now, you don't know when you'll have this meal later. So you throw your diet out, right? This isn't just about decision making. This is about having the courage to truly follow Jesus Christ, to be fully devoted, to be completely committed, to be unwavering in your commitment to follow who Jesus says we should be as believers. We live in a choose your own adventure culture, right? That situation where the world just wants you to get to that moment of high stakes decision making when you have all the pressure and they want you to make that decision with your emotions, with your limbic system, with whatever whim you want. But the truth is, as believers, we have everything we need to choose courage over compromise. This is what Jesus says in Timothy. God's Spirit doesn't make cowards out of us. The Spirit gives us power, love, and self-control. You have everything you need to choose courage over compromise. You have everything you need to make the decision long before you get to the high-stakes situation. But that's the world we live in. All throughout the Bible, people were constantly asking Jesus, hey, how can I live the life that I want to live and the life that you want me to live? Knowing that those two things don't always line up. Jesus always had a very direct answer for that, and this is what he said. Then Jesus said to his disciples, if any of you wants to be my follower, you must give up your own way, take up your cross, and follow me. If you try to hang on to your life, you will lose it. But if you give up your life for my sake, you will save it. And what do you benefit if you gain the whole world but lose your soul? Is anything worth more than your soul? That's the constant tension of our lives as believers, as people who are choosing to be fully devoted to Jesus. We are challenged to take up our cross, to carry that responsibility of following Jesus every day. So I can't tell you every high-stakes decision you'll have to make in life, but there are some categories I know for sure you can decide now what you're going to do before you get to that moment, right? When it comes to sex, when it comes to drugs, when it comes to your integrity, when it comes to standing up for people who can't stand up for themselves, when it comes to your online identity, all of these are high-stakes decisions you will have to face in life. Go ahead and decide now who you will be in those moments. Okay, so back to the story at the beginning. You're on a hot date, things are getting crazy, you're in the car, in the heat of the moment, what do you do, right? Well, to be completely honest, if I was making that decision with my emotions, I probably would have gotten the back seat. But here's the bigger picture. Here's the rest of the story, right? The summer between 8th grade and 9th grade is when I really, truly decided to start following Jesus. That was the season of my life where I just made some decisions. I made some decisions about how I would live moving forward. Before I got to high school, I said, you know what? I'm not gonna have sex till I get married. And guess who's not married? Still not having sex, guys. This is terrible. And by no means am I saying that from that summer between 8th and 9th grade on, have I always made the most right decisions in every high-stakes situation, whether that's physical or otherwise. But what I am saying is that because I decided long before I got to the moment what I was gonna do, I knew what to do in the moment. I knew how to make the best decision. The highest stake decision of all time, past, present, future, was made with us in mind. You see, we get a chance to see Jesus just moments before he is going to be put to death. and he's thinking about us, and he's praying, and we get a glimpse of his humanness because he prays to God, his Father, and he says, God, if there's any way this could not happen, if there's any way you could take this cup from me, that's what I would choose. However, God, your will be done, not mine, right? And so, yeah, we see Jesus in that moment, choosing not to compromise on our behalf. But we also see his whole life, where he knew why he was here. He decided long before he arrived to the moment of having to go to the cross why his life mattered here on earth, and that's for you and for me. Check out what it says in John. For I have come down from heaven to do the will of God who sent me, not to do my own will. For it is my Father's will that all who see his Son and believe in him should have eternal life. I will raise them up at the last day. Switch. Decide before you arrive. Choose courage over compromise. Have a good week.
Brandon? Brandon!
Yeah?
If I'm reading this correctly, it says we need to move the first one 2 feet.
What's that?
A little to the left. 2 feet.
You sure?
Says right here in the plans.
Sure thing, boss.
You sure you're reading that right?
I mean, it might be upside down.
What are those?
Blueprints. Hello, everybody. I'm Lawson.
And I'm Brandon, and welcome to the So-and-So Show.
Yes. And
on today's show.
Wait,
what are you? Why are you talking over me?
No. We discussed this over our pre-show cornflakes.
We discussed no such thing.
Oh, of course. See, you never listen to me. You hear me,
That is
but
not
you
true.
don't listen.
I do
Brandon.
listen.
Oh, do you? How would you ever know to listen when you're too busy being on your phone the entire time?
I was looking at the intro to the show, which apparently you won't let me do.
Okay. Was the intro to the show a video of a ferret doing the conga line on loop?
It helps me focus.
Your team in a funk?
Yes.
Feel like you aren't able to communicate?
Yes.
Then today's your lucky day. Hi, I'm Tanya, team motivator and influencer. Sometimes it can feel like your team is all over the place. Here. But with my proven team building exercises, I can take your team from here to here before it gets to here. So call Teams by Tanya today.
Today. So it's just me and Brandon, and we are having trouble being a team.
He's having trouble being a team.
What do you mean I'm having trouble? There's no me in team, Brandon.
Yes, there is. There's an M and an E. There's a me in team. There's no I in team. That's the saying.
Gentlemen, it seems we're having trouble communicating.
Yes.
Brandon, turn towards Lawson. Lawson, turn towards Brandon. Now close your eyes. Without making a sound, I want you to mouth these words. I can't see you, I can't hear you. Good. Keep going, mouthing those words. I can't see you, I can't hear you. Good, even bigger, but still without making any sound. Good, yes! Bigger. Good, I can't see you, I can't hear you. Now stop. Open your eyes. Look at each other. Good. Now close your eyes again. Okay, I want you to slowly open your eyes. Very small, barely open your eyes. Whisper these words, Brandon, to Lawson. I see you and I hear you.
I see you and I hear you.
Even quieter.
I see you and I hear you.
Good. Lawson?
I see you and I hear you.
Good. Keep repeating that. And each time, I want you to open your eyes a little bit wider and get a little bit louder.
I see you and I hear you.
I see you and I hear you.
Good. Keep building that.
I see you and I hear you.
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 Louder! Tell them!
I see you and I hear you.
I see you and I hear you.
Yes, louder!
I see you and I hear you.
I see you and I hear you.
I see you and I hear you.
My work here is done. Now it's Bible story time with Kellen.
Hey, gents.
Kellen,
Yes?
I see you and I hear you.
Okay. Thanks. Back at you.
Do you have a Bible story for us today?
Absolutely. And here to help me tell it are the So-and-So Show players.
Oh, yeah.
Today's story comes from the book of 1 Samuel, chapter 25. There was a man named Nabal. Nabal was known to be rude and mean, and he was married to Abigail, who was wise and clever. But we'll get to her in a minute. Now, Nabal was very wealthy. He had 1,000 goats and 3,000 sheep. And it was time for Nabal to shear his sheep and sell the wool. There's another character in today's story. His name is David. You might remember David as the shepherd boy who slayed a giant and then became king. This is that same David. But in our story, he hasn't become king yet. David was staying with his men in the desert when he heard that Nabal was shearing his sheep.
Frances!
Yes, David.
I want you to go to Nabal, and I want you to greet him kindly for me. And then I want you to remind him of how well we treated his men when they were with us. And lastly, I want you to ask him if there's anything he can share with me and the other men. Go!
Yes, sir.
David's men delivered the message to Nabal, but Nabal's response was, well,
So, David would just like you to remember all that he did for you, and then, would appreciate if you could find anything for us.
I'm sorry. Who? David who? Son of Jesse who? Why should I give up my bread and my meat that I have prepared? Why?
Because,
Why? The answer is not just no. It is no. Million times no. Be gone with you. Go.
no.
Go.
Million times, no.
Million times
Million
go.
times, no.
David's men reported back everything Nabal had said to them.
No. No. A million times, no.
What? What? Men, put on your swords because we are going to destroy Nabal.
David was angry.
I don't have my sword.
Maybe a little too angry. Now, Nabal was in big trouble unless somebody could stop David. That's where Nabal's wife, Abigail, comes in.
Abigail,
Yes, Frankie?
Nabal just insulted David. David, the guy who's been keeping us safe while we watch our sheep. David's really mad, and I think he's out for revenge, so you gotta do something.
All right, people. Listen up. We're gonna have to do this fast. I need you to go get 200 loaves of bread, Frankie. Billy? Grab 2 bottles of wine, and I'm not talking the small ones, I'm talking the big ones in the animal skins.
Sure thing, boss.
Sally?
Yes, Abigail?
I need you to get the 5 sheep ready to be cooked.
You got it.
And Frankie! I'm gonna need a bushel of grain. Okay. And 100 raisin cakes.
Okay.
And 200 cakes of pressed figs. Let's go, people! There's no time to waste!
Abigail wasted no time. After she collected all the food, she loaded it onto the donkeys and met David, who was approaching from the desert.
Ah! Can you believe it, men? How he has treated us? We have served him, and how did he repay us? He repaid us with evil, and we will destroy Nabal.
Pardon me, sir.
Yes.
I must speak with you. Let me take the blame. Pay no attention to that man, Nabal.
Nabal.
He's really not worth getting that worked up over.
Who?
Nabal. No. Eyes, right here. His name means...
What?
His name means fool. Yes. He does many foolish things.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, Nabal.
So you don't need to kill Nabal, do you?
Yeah!
No.
No?
No. No. You see, God has prevented you from killing Nabal and his men. And I have brought many gifts for you to have.
Ah, yeah. So you have. It's very kind.
So you don't need to kill Nabal. God will take care of it. He's going to appoint you king over all of Israel, and you don't want to have to worry about how you killed Nabal and didn't have to, right?
Oh, yeah, you make a lot of sense.
Thank you. I just ask that when you're king, you remember me.
All right. All right. Go. You may go in peace. I have heard what you have come here to say, and I will do as you have asked. Goodbye.
So Abigail returned home and David stayed put. With her quick thinking, Abigail was able to make peace. The end.
Great story, Kellen. Thanks.
And many thanks to the So-and-So Show players.
Okay. That wasn't terrible.
Yeah, Abigail was incredible.
To be able to soften a situation like that took a lot of courage from Abigail.
Yeah, David was so angry he could kill, but God used Abigail. After talking to her, David walked away from a fight and didn't make a huge mistake he probably would have regretted.
Making peace isn't easy, is it?
Not at all. Sometimes people think the person trying to make peace is weak because it looks like they don't want to fight or argue. But being a peacemaker is incredibly hard, and it usually takes a lot of work.
And a lot of raisin cakes.
Oh, you know it.
Great story. Thanks, Kellen.
Yep, I'll see you guys next time.
Later.
Wish I could be a peacemaker like Abigail or Tanya. But how, Brandon? How?
I don't know. But let's find out. Reveal the question. What are ways you can be a peacemaker? Maybe you can be a peacemaker with 2 of your friends.
Or within your family, or maybe a sports team.
Or maybe you can be a peacemaker by saying you're sorry. Lawson, I'm sorry that I get angry at you. Sometimes you're a great friend.
Thanks, buddy. I'm sorry, too. I don't think either of us were peacemakers today.
Yeah. Until now. High five!
Yeah!
That was close enough.
All right,
that was close enough. Yeah. There are lots of ways you can be a peacemaker. Talk about it with each other. And we'll see you next time on The So-and-So Show.
I can't see you.
Good. Oh,
I can't hear you. I can't see you. What did you say, Brandon? I can't see you. Tanya!
I can't see.
Are my hands still over my ears?
I can't see you.
Why are my eyes closed?
I can't see you.
I can't hear you. I can't see you. I need water.
I need a nap.
Good.
I need water.
Good. This
I
is
need a
team
nap.
building.
I can't see the point.
Why?
Good work, Tanya.
Yeah. I do that.